is the fact that there aren't terms out there to talk about our experience.
Once I found out that there was a word for it, that word was asexual, and that described me, it was liberating.
I'm a closet case. I haven't come out to my family and friends yet. And hi, I'm on television.
Asexuality is a person that does not experience sexual attraction to either male or female or anybody.
I wouldn't say that asexuality is a choice. I would say that it's like being gay or straight or anything. It's just something that we're born with. There aren't people who got out of a bad relationship or who, were raised and taught that sex is bad. It's people who just aren't interested. I first started using the term asexual around when I was 14 or 15 years old in early high school, when everyone's beginning to understand and explore their sexuality. And they'd sort of say, well, who do you like? Who are you attracted to? What do you think about her? What do you think about him? And I didn't have a frame of reference to understand these sexual things my friends were going through.
I never felt like looking for a boyfriend or anything like that. I tried. And every time I felt that there was something missing, something that everybody talks about, and I never felt that. And of course I thought that there was something wrong with me, maybe that I was too young, maybe unexperienced, but with time I realized that it was something much more.
I can form a very deep emotional connection with someone, and that doesn't have to involve sexuality. Sex is one way to express love. It's not the way to express love. Most of the very close relationships that I've formed, whether you'd call them dating or not, I don't know, have been with sexual people. Asexual people right now are pretty few and far between. Almost all of the asexual people I know through the internet, and so I haven't had a chance to really form very close relationships with those people, though I'd love to. Many asexual people also have a sexual orientation. I'd personally say that I'm asexual and bi, in that I don't want to be sexual with anyone, but I want to form sort of intense emotional relationships with both men and women. There are asexual people who are asexual and straight, asexual and gay, or who don't identify with an orientation.
There are some that are loners, but companionship is very important to an asexual. And one thing I didn't realize, that you could be in love with somebody and not want to have sex with them. So I would have these crushes on people and really, really, truly love them. The whole thing with, not doing anything without thinking about them and stuff like that. And saying, what's wrong with me? It's not like I want to have sex with them. And now I know that it's very normal.
I haven't had sex with people, but I've made out with people. I've engaged in some sexual activity with people, and it was interesting because I like physicality. I like hugging people. I like cuddling people. And to the extent that sexuality involved those things, I still enjoyed it. But the sexuality itself didn't feel right. It didn't resonate with me.
I think that most of the people that hear about asexuality think that it's something that may pass, maybe that somebody never met the right person, but it's all wrong. For example, I met the right person. I thought that he was the perfect guy, and I still didn't feel a thing.
I have no sexual responses per se. I think when I was younger, I tried to. And my body just doesn't feel it. It's like the same thing as I can't whistle. I'm not gonna try to whistle. To me, it's as important as whistling.
A number of asexual people will experience sexual arousal. Some asexual people will masturbate, some don't. Some asexual people also don't experience sexual arousal at all. It varies from person to person. But among the asexual people who do masturbate and experience arousal, it's not anything, and I'm one of them, it's not anything that we associate with partnered sexuality.
It was tough at first when I didn't really know what I was all about, walking through and living in this world where magazine covers and music and movies and TV and books and everything is so sexualized. But there are non-sexualized forms of entertainment if you look for them.
I can look at something that's very sexual, like a Playboy, and there's a lot of ways other than sexuality that you can perceive of that, right? I see a naked person running on a beach and I think, oh, why are they on the beach? You know, that's a nice looking beach to be running down. And I don't have to think about that in terms of sexuality.
Oftentimes we do end up putting a lack of sexual desire within a kind of medical framework, medicalize it. And to some degree I think that makes sense. But I think with new research on asexuality, I think there'll be a broader perspective on this. Not in every particular case of people who have low sexual desire or lack of sexual attraction to other people does this necessarily mean that this is a problem. If they are normal, healthy, functioning people in society and, in fact, living their lives in relatively happy ways, then this should not be, in my opinion, medicalized.
Nobody knows the percentage of people that are asexual because a lot of them live straight lives, a lot of them live gay lives, a lot of them live sexual lives. You don't know what your next door neighbor is. It's like they're living the nuclear family with their spouse and their 2 kids, but you don't know, maybe they're not enjoying it.
We imply or indicate something about sexuality that people didn't think was true. I think that there's something that a lot of sexual people find fascinating about asexuality. I don't quite know what that is, but I think it's very interesting.
I think it is hard for other people to understand what asexuality is because they never knew that there was such a possibility, and it's pretty much against everything they experienced throughout their lives. But it's also hard for asexuals to understand what sexual people feel.
What I'd like people mostly to do is recognize that asexuality is there. We can't make them understand it. You can't understand. I can't understand sexuality. They can't understand asexuality. What mostly I want is to be believed. Not to have people say, well, she says she's asexual. A lot of the time people will challenge and say, oh yeah, but don't you want, you know you want it, you know. And so I want mostly people just to stop saying that. Anytime they want to pose a question to an asexual like that, turn it around. It's like they say, how do you know you're asexual? Well, how do you know you're sexual? How do I know you're sexual?
One of the things that